Now, what with the EU referendum, a new Prime Minister, and big announcements on everything from Hinkley Point C going ahead to GKN in Yeovil closing, your MPs, I think it's fair to say, have been kept rather busy during 2016. But what will next year hold, and what issues are they going to be focusing on? Your politics reporter James Craig has been speaking to the Conservative MP for Wells, James Heappey. He asked James if he thought the debate about Brexit would become less polarised in 2017.
I think that the referendum is only still divisive in the minds of those who were most vigorously campaigning one way or the other in the first place. You know, the hard Brexit and soft Brexit is really a proxy for in and out. And I suspect that they will continue to be at each other's throats for some time to come yet. But I just have this inkling that once Article 50 is actually triggered, and I think that that will happen by March of 2017, or the end of March 2017, the whole sort of attitude and atmosphere will change, because the deal is effectively then done in so much as we've confirmed we're leaving. And then it's time to just all start being a bit more sensible, a bit more pragmatic in working out what is in the mutual interest of the UK and the EU.
And looking a little closer to home, are there any key issues that you really want to push on in 2017 for people living in the Wells, or in and around Wells? The
challenges for next year, as I can see, are twofold. It's to push on with the connectivity issues that we have in the constituency. We need to continue to accelerate the rollout of superfast broadband, get some better mobile signal in places, and we need to continue to work to get an improvement to the road in from junction 23 of the M5 so that we can access Mendip a bit more easily from the M5 corridor. But the other piece of work that I'm embarking on in the new year is it's increasingly clear to me that the problem with our health service locally is not actually a lack of money, nor is it actually a lack of doctors and nurses in training. The challenge is for some reason we are struggling to attract GPs to come and work down in Somerset in rural general practice. And that's putting huge pressure on our doctors' surgeries, because there is a quite large retired population in the constituency, and as brilliant as they all are and as fully as they contribute to our community, the reality is that puts quite a lot of pressure on our health services. So I just want to start to understand why it is we struggle to get GPs to come to Somerset, and see if there's something we can encourage the government, the BMA, the Royal College of GPs to put in place to help recruit GPs into general practice in areas like ours. I think that would do our health service a lot of good.
And it's a big issue, isn't it, to get to grips with, because it's something we've heard over maybe the last 5 or 10 years, that drop-off in GPs. So GPs retire, but there aren't those new people coming forward. For you, what would be a starting point? Or is there a particular course of action you want to take with the government?
The first thing I'm going to do in the new year, and we sort of just put the finishing touches to the letter and the questionnaire that I want to send out, I'm going to write to every practice in my surgery and just ask them to set out to me how it currently is in terms of their recruitment for full-time doctors or partners, what they're currently using in terms of locums, how easy they're finding it to get locums, and their thoughts on the sort of the contractual arrangements for GPs and what it might be within those contracts, within those lifestyles that puts young doctors off coming into rural general practice. Because as I say, you know, med schools have got plenty of medical students in them, and the money follows the patient. So it's not an issue over money. There's money there for everybody for every patient that a GP's practice has on its books. But that's the first, is just to understand what the view of GPs and their practice managers are within my constituency, and then just to start talking to the Royal College, the BMA and to the government to just see whether or not there could be lessons we can learn from other sectors. You know, there was a real challenge a decade or so ago about getting teachers into inner city schools, and so they set up this excellent scheme called Teach First, and that was hugely successful at getting teachers into the schools that had found it hardest to recruit. I don't know, is there a similar mechanism for getting newly qualified GPs through rural general practice on their route to whatever it is that they see as their more long-term career? There has to be something that we can do, because the situation at the moment for primary healthcare in communities like the one I represent is actually getting quite dire. And as I say, it's not about money, nor is it about people in training. It's just about getting the right package so that people come to our area and serve as GPs for our community.
It's James Heappey, the Conservative MP for Wells, talking to your politics reporter James Craig.